The old you has to die in order to make space for the new. That is what's happening right now, all around the world, on an individual and collective level. We're in this in between phase, the void. You might feel like you are losing your mind a little bit. Because the life that you built, that was built upon survival, was built on fear, it was built on conditioning, it was built on trauma, insecurity. Your coping mechanisms, the ways of being that were keeping you safe once upon a time. All of these old structures that were built on unstable foundations are collapsing as you're starting to recognize the many different ways that you have performed, masked, twisted, contorted yourself to fit the mold of a version that you thought you needed to be in order to receive love, to receive validation, to receive acceptance. All of that is now falling away. And that is very uncomfortable. And it will bring resistance. It will bring fear. Because you've built your entire identity, your entire life around these things. It's when we start to let go of that, or try to let go of that, there is part of us that resists it naturally. That identity, that ego that was formed around the wound, sees this shedding that you're going through as life or death. Literally sees it as a threat to your survival. So as the old starts to fall away, which naturally has to happen for the new to emerge, the resistance, the fear is going to come up. Those voices are going to come up that are going to start saying, oh, it's too uncomfortable. This isn't going to work for me. This doesn't make sense for me. This is stupid. I haven't got the time. Maybe I'll do it when this changes or some external change happens. Then I'll do the work. That is a protective part of you that's trying to keep you safe. But this in-between phase that is being felt by many around the world at the moment as the old crumbles away. Call it the void. The space between the old and the new. Now when we look at the void, when the old falls away, that doesn't mean that the new is going to be in its place straight away. In fact, more often than not, there is a gap. There is time, there is space between the old and the new. And there has to be. This gap, the void, is like the womb, where something new can be birthed. It's this space, it's this gap where you rediscover your magic, you rediscover your divinity. You rediscover your spark. But it is uncomfortable. Of course it is, because you're probably going to be slowing down for the first time in potentially your entire life. And up until this point, you've spent your whole life running on fear, hypervigilance, hyper-awareness, reactive, autopilot, survival. So as the old structures, the old identities start to collapse, this is going to create a period where we have to slow down, and it's going to be quiet. There's going to be more stillness. There's going to be more peace. Peace in a sense of less chaos externally. Okay, but initially the internal chaos can still be there because you're just not going to be used to slowing down. And it's going to take time for you to get used to that slowing down, but it's important that those periods we embrace, we breathe into it, we surrender to the discomfort. And when we embrace that, clarity starts to come. The answers start to come. Through chaos comes clarity. It's important that we don't rush to fix or fill this in-between phase, the void. The main focus in this stage is that you focus on remaining as grounded and as centered and as aligned as possible. There are new frequencies, new energy that is coming in, and it is our responsibility to be able to bring that in. But we have to stay anchored for that to happen. We have to stay connected to this as much as possible. Even when what this is saying, what the soul is saying, what the intuition is saying, even when it doesn't make logical sense. Especially when it doesn't make logical sense. Because quite often when we're going through these big sort of soul level upgrades, the soul and the heart knows before the mind does. Before the rational mind, the logical mind, the conditioned mind, the intellect is usually the last one to the party. So it's your job now to stay rooted, to stay anchored, to stay grounded, and just allow this in-between phase, this void, to unfold naturally as it needs to. Do not rush the process. And this space is where the insights, the downloads, the creativity, the inspiration, the new ideas can start to form. But those perspective shifts can't happen. Those new ways of being can't come in if there's too much static, too much noise, distraction, suppression, avoidance, numbing. Okay, you've done a lot of the hard work by letting go of trauma and fear and wounding and insecurity. Do not allow this in-between phase to take you back. Do not allow the discomfort of this space, of this slowing down, to pull you back into old, unhealthy habits and coping mechanisms. The resistance that you feel is normal. 95% of the resistance that we feel is fear-based. It's the anxiety that asks the questions, the what-ifs. The resistance usually means we're looking in the right place. So I encourage you, whilst you do feel this resistance, is just to observe it coming up. And ask yourself, is this resistance my soul and my heart trying to communicate with me, telling me that something isn't aligned and that something's wrong? Or is this resistance actually my old fears and programming that's trying to protect me and keep me safe and stop me from shedding the old and stepping into the unknown? Ask yourself that question. You will get a clear answer. You will know in your heart. You've come so far. Don't back down now.